Are you living life, or is life living you? The answer lies in the divine love, healing, and wisdom within you. Welcome to Triple L, the Live, Love, Lotus Show, your podcast to help you consciously create your most incredible life. I'm TLotus, Minister of Spiritual Metaphysics, Energy Healer, Master Lenormand Reader, and your host. I've learned how to tap into the power within myself to transform my life, and my divine mission is to help you do the same. Join me every first and third Friday of the month at 12 p.m. Pacific Time as we explore the wonder that is the magnificence of your power and your light. We'll talk about how to deepen your spiritual wellness and work with universal energy to heal and align mind, body, and soul. And I'll help you to connect to the answers you seek with spiritual Lenormand readings to guide you along your sacred path. It's time to tap into your magnificence. Are you ready to vibrate higher? Get ready to live, love, Lotus. Let's go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Triple L, the Live, Love, Lotus show. We have a beautiful episode for you today. I'm so excited, and I'm going to jump right into it. I want to welcome the VIP members of the Sacred Path. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for joining us in our VIP audience. And I'm just going to jump right into introducing my special guest, because today we're going to talk about consciously creating heaven on earth. What does that mean, and how can we do it? It is all about tapping into the power within. My guest today, and you've heard me speak her name many, many times. My guest today is Kornelia Stephanie. She is the founder and CEO of Thrive Global, and she is also the founder of the Kornelia Stephanie Media Group. Now, you've heard me mention KSMG many times. Kornelia is the founder of the media group that Triple L, the Live, Love, Lotus show, is a part of. And I'm so happy to be a part of the KSMG family. She's a visionary, co-creator of Heaven on Earth, a spiritual mentor and teacher. She's a community builder, an author, a podcaster, public speaker, so much more. Welcome, Kornelia Stephanie, to Triple L.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, girl. Hey, how you doing now? So for all of you who are just hearing this name or seeing her for the first time, and if you didn't tune in to the Facebook Live last night, we had a wonderful Facebook Live where we got to know you even more and know your story. You have an amazing story, and you wrote all about it. Now, Kornelia is the author of her book, Peace, The Flip Side to Anger: How I Used My Emotions to Heal My Life and My Body, and How You Can Too. And it is an amazing book, and we are going to dive in because this is about how to create, consciously create our heaven on earth. So, Kornelia, thank you again so much for being here. Um, in the live last night on the Facebook Live, we talked about how we met, how I became a podcaster, a part of the KSMG group. So, you guys, that will be uploaded to the Sacred Path YouTube channel today. So, everyone will get the link. But I want to talk about your journey and your book and your mission of uh, co-creating heaven on earth. So, what does that mean? I know that is a broad question, but what does that mean to you?
Well, heaven on earth is why we're all here. We're all here for to be the new human, to ascend to a higher vibrational way of living and being, and to co create in harmony with our nature. For a long time now, we have been living everything that we're not. And now we are returning to living and being everything that we are. And the amazing thing is that we are all here from other planetary systems, from star seeds, from all over the universe. And if we came here to evolve in this school, in this earthly plane, we came here to remember the truth of who we are, vibrate and live in unconditional love and respect and harmony, trust and patience, bring that heavenly consciousness, the consciousness that was originally intended to be the original divine blueprint here on earth. And what that means is that there's no hijacking allowed.
Mm, I love that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes, I do.
No
I love
hijacking
that.
allowed. And with that comes a lot of responsibility because we have to make some tough choices. All the places where we have given our power away to outside sources, whether it's in the healthcare system, in the government, in the school system, in our relationships, wherever it is, but we are restoring this earth back to its original divine blueprint. And that's what heaven on earth means to me. That consciousness already exists because those of us that have been working on this grid for the last decade, but so much more before then, because this is something that has been, you asked about the mission. This is something that has been in the works for a long, long time. And, but for the last decade, since before even 2012, we have been realizing the mastery within our own being. Your intro spoke to it perfectly. Looking at, we already have everything inside of us, and each and every one of us has the power to remember the truth of who we are, that we are the image and the expression of source consciousness. Every single one of us, there's no separation, there's no hierarchy in this, that there's no one better than another. We all have skill sets, we all have our unique expressions, and we're all contributing to the oneness that we all are.
That is amazing. We are made in God's image, as above, so below. And so, as you know, I always say, as wondrous and amazing and powerful and beautiful the universe is, so are we. Also, though, as destructive the universe can be, there's the total opposite to that. I'm always focused on the light, but as destructive as, all of the opposite words that I just mentioned, so are we. It's all within us. So what I love, Kornelia, about your book, and it took a couple weeks after we met, after I've been on your podcast. You guys check out the Facebook Live from last night when I talk about, how we met and everything when we talked about it. But what I really connected with in this book was your focus on taking the reins of your emotions, and specifically anger. A lot of us are afraid to really deal with it. We don't want to face it, or we dive into the rabbit hole of it, and it becomes this bigger energy that is out of our control, becomes out of our control. But you, in your book, and I want everyone to go get this book. If you have ever been frustrated, if you've been overwhelmed with challenges in your life, um, if you've ever been truly angry or resentful about something and you've carried that, you know, that can fester into into something that becomes out of our control. But you share your story in the first part of the book, and then you give us tips and tools and resources, and we're going to go into that in a little bit because I want you to talk a little bit about that. There's something in the book, and I'm going to tell you what it is that I connected with, and so I'm going to read. Excuse the spectacles, y'all, for my viewers who are logged on. You know me and my glasses. It's in chapter 5, and it's so in alignment with also what I teach, what I live, and this is what you live. It says, Peace begins within. That's the name of this short paragraph within chapter 5, which is From Anger to Peace. Peace begins within means taking radical responsibility for being the peace bringer yourself. Learning to release your fire, your anger, is one of the most loving, peaceful acts that you can bring to this planet. And that is just such a different perspective to view it. War is the extreme action of angry people. Even though we have war going on in the Middle East and elsewhere, the best thing you can do is to bring yourself into harmony, into a peaceful space within yourself. Be the peace you wish to see. Be a role model for others. And so the reason why that stood out to me is because one of the things that I teach, share, mentor is the answers that we seek, we already have. The journey is to connect with them. The love, the joy, the peace that we want and desire, we already have. The journey is to connect to that peace. And in your book, you give several, not just one, you give many different practices on how to connect with that peace. So, what I want to ask you is, I want to, could you give our powerful manifestors just a snapshot of of what some of the things that you did, some of the things that we can do right now to begin to connect to that peace within.
Good. Well, first thing is that anger and peace can't exist in the same space together at one time, because you can look out into the world and you can see people that are peace activists, but you could tell if they're truly peace activists because are they angry peace activists?
Mm.
Because
Yeah, we
you know what I'm saying? It's like
right.
you can't have peace and anger in the same spot. Think about how you feel in your body. When you feel angry, anger is in that spot. If you feel peace, peace is in that spot. But you can't have both in the same spot. It just doesn't work like that. So the thing to know, we have been conditioned and trained that anger is a bad thing. That's the first place to start, is to realize that anger is not bad. Anger is only used for bad actions when we use it to do harm, when we use it to cause harm, because we can, because anger in the body, once it's realized and once that inner bullet goes off, and I'll give you the example, somebody pisses you off,
Hmm.
you get pissed off about
I'm gonna
something.
tell you right now, peace, love, and light, TLotus. But sometimes when I'm on that freeway and I get cut off, or some crazy driver, yeah,
Yeah, so
in the instant.
something pisses you off, so where you get angry, and you get angry because you use the words cut off.
Hmm.
So basically, if I was to say to you, T, why are you pissed? And if I was to sit next to you in the car and you'd say, oh, that's SOB, just cut me off. And that pisses me off. And then I would say, what about it? It pisses you off. What about it? I feel cut off. I feel invaded. I feel disrespected. I feel
Hmm.
whatever
Hmm.
that is, right? So that's the part to realize right there, is that underneath that anger there's a truth that's waiting to be claimed, and that is, I feel disrespected, I feel cut off, I feel like you shouldn't do that. That's not a nice thing to do, to disrespect people like that. And in our new earth, in our new human, the new human isn't going to deliberately do something like that, because they're going to be cautious of driving down the street. They're not going to be cutting people off. They're not going to be doing these kinds of things. And you are not going to continue carrying on projecting that anger out towards other things, and then going down the rabbit hole and staying pissed off and whatever. This is just one small example, but
I
you
can
know,
I can give you another example. We
go
talked
ahead.
about it last night when Carrie died. When
Okay,
my
that's a good
oldest
one.
son died,
Mm.
he first of all he died, and he died by suicide, okay? And last night, I shared that I was pissed at the universe, at spirit, at God, at Carrie, anger. And it was a kind of anger that I never experienced or even thought I could, get to that level. Okay, but I had a choice. I could drown in that anger, what I call muddy waters, the low vibration, or I could, another word that we talked about last night, surrender, you know. And what I shared, and if you guys watched the live last night, what I shared was I was like, okay, I accept what's happening here, but damn it, my intentions that I set intention for peace, for a happy life, for, abundance for my children and for myself, for, to build a legacy, okay, um, that needs to be manifested quick, fast, spirit, because this pain is unbearable.
Yeah. And you know what? And so, if that was, I think that's exactly correct what you're talking about. And if that was me, I also would be pissed off. I would be pissed off at God. I would be pissed off at the universe. I would be pissed off. I would be really, really angry that I now have to live with this hole in my reality, and that I have to carry on with this unspeakable act of what took place, and that your son isn't here anymore. And I would be enraged also. And
Yeah.
every time when I would feel that rage coming on inside of myself, I would give myself permission 100% to get so fucking pissed off,
Yes.
so
Yes.
being pissed off, and get completely engaged in that rage within my own spiritual anger management room. And
Yes.
I would get that rage out of myself, and I would exhaust myself.
Hmm. I have had several experiences, and even just recently, and it, didn't last long, but I had to just say, "Damn it, Carrie, your house should be here," like that, every
Oh
so
my
often,
gosh.
and then sometimes it gets even deeper, in February. And I'm gonna get off of talking, but I talk about me a lot. But this is good because I'm sharing. I take my powerful manifestors on this journey with me. Because if it's not losing someone you love, it could be losing a job. Look, this pandemic has, 2020 is perfect vision. Our eyes are open, and we were able to see the shit happening around us, focus on it and pay attention. We had no choice, and focus on the shit in our own lives. And so, we have been, a lot of people, we all have been in a prolonged state of stress and low vibration, and we don't know what to do with it all. And this is why I love your book, because and I love you and what you share, what you teach, because our emotions are our spiritual antennas. It tells us where we are on our path
Our
at that.
emotions, our emotions are 80% of our body is water.
Mhm.
And our emotions are magnetic. And if you want to be vibrating at peace, joy, I'm manifesting this, I'm manifesting that, I'm manifesting this, you have to be in if you wanted to be positive, that water, if you want that that emotional, because emotions are magnetic and thoughts are electric.
Mhm.
And so the emotion and the thought is masculine, the emotion is feminine, and those two work together in harmony. So they come together. So, having a beautiful feeling of, I'm manifesting this with the thought, with the emotion, the desire backed up to it. You can be a powerful manifester in the positive, but you can also, like you said, use it for negative manifestations as well. But
Mhm.
if you're not in a peaceful state, and if you're angry, all I'm doing is inviting you, the person that has the emotion of anger. Underneath the anger, there's always, 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 this is like guaranteed, a truth that's waiting to be claimed by you that has never been spoken before, because the emotion of anger is so much fire. If we look underneath there, there's something that you, the person, that person that's angry, that wants to say. And you want to be able to communicate it. But you got all this fire right there. So first,
Mhm.
let's move the fire. Let's acknowledge the fire, but not throw it at somebody, not pick up a gun and hurt somebody, not hurt yourself. Responsibly release the fire, like you did with God, source, the universe, when you got mad and pissed off about Carrie not being here. You didn't pick up a gun. You didn't go
No, but
shoot people.
for me, spirit, and it was like a whole 3 to 4 day process because spirit told me I needed to scream it out,
Good.
and I didn't want to. And I
Okay.
resisted that, and it got, so then I finally did. I when I did, then all a bunch of beautiful things happened immediately after that. But in
Because the anger moved. I just want to really bring that to, when you screamed it out, what happened? Because when the anger is in the body, think about that fire. It's like a hot coal. And if that hot coal stays, so basically what happens is that all of a sudden the inner bullet goes off. You get triggered, and all of a sudden now you get pissed. And you know what it feels like when all of a sudden you get pissed and you're really mad. And now what needs to happen is that anger has to move, which is the reason why usually people pick up or hurt somebody or start a fight with someone or whatever it is, because the anger has to move. But the fact that you screamed it out, now you got the anger out of the body, which is a smart, responsible thing to do, instead of holding onto that hot coal, that hot
Mhm.
fire, and putting it on an organ inside the body, which is just as harmful as if you were to put the fist towards someone. So,
Absolutely.
all I'm trying to say is that a lot of spiritual people, when I wrote the book, which is 5 years ago, more than 5 years ago, people said to
But
me,
it's
"Oh,
so relevant.
people said to me, because it's all basic principles, and these are all basic teachings, and anger is a raw emotion for all of us. We're human and we have anger. And people say to me, oh, I've dealt with my anger, I don't have any anger, you can go ahead and talk to my so and so and so and so. And I cannot imagine a person alive today not pissed off about something.
And if they say they're not, or they've never been,
They're
that
in
wouldn't
denial.
be,
They are
yeah,
in
they're in denial.
denial. They're in denial.
Absolutely.
And we have that too.
You know what, Kay, y'all. So I'll say I'm not gonna call you Kay on the podcast,
You
but
can't help yourself.
Cornelia has become a goddess sister and a dear friend. She's not just my business coach. She is absolutely amazing, and we have about 5 minutes left. So I want to make sure that you have a special giveaway for our VIPs. And could you tell us a little bit about that?
So Jacob says we have 3 minutes left, but are we going to go to the private studio audience?
We are. So yes, for the after show, so VIPs, towards the end of this, you will see a button. Please click that button. It will take you to the Triple L after show VIP experience room. So real quick, your website, and we're going to continue this conversation. Where can we find your work?
You could go to corneliastephanie.com. You can find me on Facebook. You can look at KorneliaStephanieTV.com. You can look at YouTube. I have a lot of shows on YouTube. You can find anywhere where there's your favorite podcast. I'm doing like 2 or 3 podcasts a week. You can check me out there. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. We are going to continue this conversation in the after show. And pretty soon, this podcast is going to become a 1-hour format. So we'll have plenty of time. Thank you so much for being here today. I want you back. I want you back. I want you back. We have so much to talk about. Thank you so much for tuning in. I want you to have a wonderful weekend. Stay tuned for The Shift with Trish Campbell and Diane McClay.
Oh, yeah.
Peace, love, and light, right? The dynamic duo. Peace, love, and light. And I will see you soon. Thanks for listening to Triple L, the Live, Love, Lotus Show. This podcast is produced by KSMG and Transformation Talk Radio and is supported by our amazing listeners. If you enjoyed this episode, head on over to thesacredpath11.com/podcast for bonus content and to join our amazing online community. Until next time, I'm TLotus. Peace, love, and light.